One word to describe pleasure after 50.
Glorious.
Glorious.
Yes.
What are some of the biggest myths or taboos that Black women carry about pleasure?
I don't need to know my body. He's supposed to know it.
Woo!
Just as women have the ability to give birth, we have that same ability to birth so much more. That's sex magic. That's what we're doing. And just think if we lived our lives from that perspective, how would our choices be different as Black women? When we walk into rooms, we would know we already own them.
It's like people have asked me before, when am I gonna be healed?
I tell them, just don't even worry about it. You're gonna die fucked up, so don't even.
Welcome to Soft Power Voices. Okay, so we're gonna start off with elephant in the room. Let's talk about it, okay? So society doesn't think that women of a certain age, especially older women, having sex, right? So society, let's say mothers, grandmothers having sex. Why is it so difficult for us to imagine mothers or women at a certain age having sex?
Because there's this idea, first of all, there's a fear of older women. Older women carry a lot of spiritual power. Older women carry a lot of power. And there's a fear around that. And sex is powerful. Absolutely. So if you put all that power together, it makes women very difficult to control. If you're unable to control women, then you're really unable to control a society. So that's one part of it.
Okay.
The other part is that our society has this fetish with youth, with being young, and a fear of death.
True.
So because there's, this lean towards everyone has to be young, no one wants to think about anything that anyone is doing when they're older. It's like once you get to a certain age, you should be discarded because you're a reminder that life is going to end.
It's about to end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And then, of course, there's just nobody wants to think about women having sex at all.
Why is that? Don't you need a woman to have sex?
Yeah, but see, there's this thought of a woman being kind of like a handmaid, like she procreates.
Right.
She just makes the babies, but she doesn't actually enjoy.
Isn't that unfortunate we still have a society that thinks that way?
We do. It is very unfortunate. Outside of porn, and that's part of like the Madonna whore complex that religion has given to a lot of men and women, where you can either be very pious and pure and non-sexual, or you're just a slut.
Wow, and there's no in between, right? It's just
not society.
Either or.
Yeah, not to society. It's like you can't be a both and. Don't make me choose.
Because it's interesting that you say that, because the reason why I say that is because I remember growing up, I grew up with parents who were in the age of silence. What's it called again?
Silent generation?
Silent generation, right? So those were my parents. And my mother, you would have never thought that she had sex. You know what I mean?
Even though there were children?
Even though there was 5 children.
Oh, 5?
5. I'm like, Mom, at least you liked it one time. Or 5 times. You know what I mean? So I was like, if we would have had just one, you had our elder sister and I would have been in it. I'm like, hell, I wouldn't have been around to say that, but, Yeah. But you liked it at least 5 more times or 4 more times.
Didn't like it.
I
hope your mother did. But a lot of women didn't like sex.
I didn't know at first.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I became sexually active. And then our relationship blossomed. She opened up to me, and then she started saying, okay. Because at first it was like, sex? Oh, me never. Clutching pearls.
It was a duty.
It was absolutely.
Right.
It was a duty.
And it wasn't for the woman to enjoy. It was for her to just flip over, lay there, do whatever.
Right.
But she was never considered. So women had sex.
Right. Obviously.
But did they necessarily enjoy it? Was there any orgasm?
She admitted that there was orgasm later in the relationships that she wanted to have.
Well, that's interesting.
When she had a relationship with the boyfriend. Not necessarily the husband.
By the way, that's a separate topic. There are a lot of women who are 50 and up. They call it gray divorce. I don't remember, so don't quote me on that. There are a lot of women who actually do have their own side man. Now it's much more prevalent.
Really?
Oh, yes. They're staying married.
Right.
The husbands are there, but they're getting their sexual satisfaction elsewhere.
Get out.
Yeah.
This is a thing?
It is a thing.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay. That's another conversation. So your title is Sensual Energy Alchemist.
Yes.
And Pleasure Coach.
Yes.
Can you break that down for us?
Yes. So sensual has to do with your body, your five senses, being in your body. Most of us walk around very dissociated. We don't even realize it just because of generational trauma, our own personal trauma. As women, we have learned to not really exist in our bodies. We can't feel too much, otherwise the world will burn.
Woo!
Or somebody gonna get it,
God
right?
forbid.
So sensual is about bringing us back into our bodies, because when we're in our bodies, then we can access our energy.
Very true.
Right? And when we can access our energy, now we have power. But in order to do that, for many of us, we have to alchemize the pain that we've experienced into pleasure. And that's a process, and it's not always an easy process, but that's something that we need to do. So sensual energy alchemy is really the journey of Black women coming home to their bodies, releasing what's been in our DNA, releasing what we've experienced, so we can come home to our orgasmic pleasure and create the lives we desire.
As a woman, how do we come to recognize that we need that shift, that we need that sensual shift? I think every woman has a sensual,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
But for those who have been, I guess you could say, craving it,
Yeah.
but don't necessarily know how to obtain it,
Yeah.
right? So what would you say to women out there who are listening to us right now? How to bring that forward? Who do we speak to? Who do we talk to? What do we look for, right?
Yeah, you can talk to me.
There we go. High five. High five.
Come
Right?
see me. So one of the exercises that I often have women do who are new to this type of experience is I just ask them to eat slow. Just eat slower. You would be surprised, especially if you have been a mother, how fast
Absolutely.
I'm just inside.
I don't even sit at the table when my kids are eating.
Right.
I'm standing there as they're eating dinner. I'm eating with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, this society in general, right? We're on the go, we gotta go.
Right.
But that's the first thing I have them do is I want you to just taste your food. Like literally just sit. I don't care if you're chewing 40 times and all that. Take that up with your dentist. I just want you to sit and taste the flavors in your food. And do you know, I have had women who have come to me and tell me that was a challenge.
Wow.
Just slowing down, because when you slow down, you start to feel things. You're not as busy. Your mind isn't racing. That's the first thing. Just slow down how you eat. Try to eat your meal for 20 to 30 minutes.
That's interesting. That would segue into a whole other topic with ADHD, how women are being diagnosed with adult ADHD, right?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that some other time. For somebody with a brain with an ADHD brain, saying that's so difficult to do. But like I said, we'll hit that topic another time.
Yeah.
What brought you into this kind of work? Was there a personal moment or a turning point that made you realize your path?
Yes and no. It's kind of like how people ask me, when did you realize you were polyamorous? I'm kind of like, yeah. I'm all the intersections of, that's a Black thing. So the real shift happened after I left my marriage, and I spoke to my ex-husband about this. He passed away in 2020 with all the madness in the world. But he and I had conversations about the abuse that I endured in our marriage and his background and why that experience took place for me. And in having those conversations with him and trying to access my own feelings, because like many 70s babies, I grew up in a household where it was okay if I was okay. It was okay if I was in joy. The tears were not a thing, okay? There was very much a fix your face.
Right.
Anger was not a thing.
Absolutely.
And so I did not know how to access my anger. I could be sad, but I noticed even when I was sad, it was always geared towards my children. What I didn't do for them, or it was never about me.
Okay.
And so I went through this, I don't want to say it, not a training program, but like the self-development program at the time. And it was 4 weekends, and it was for women. And I was one of the chocolate chips in the room for sure. But it gave me the ability to start to access all of those emotions and feelings that talk therapy just wasn't getting at. Because I was just talking.
Right.
But my body was not involved.
Oh my goodness.
So this was like 2015, 2016, 2017. And I think that explosion was waiting to happen, because I'd already been a personal trainer. I'd been in dance. I'd already been meditating. There was so much that was already stirring underneath. So it was kind of like a bamboo tree.
Okay.
Like the seed had been planted, and then it seemed like nothing was happening, but then it just kind of shot up. And so around 2015, 2016 is when the doors blew open, and I was like, this is the work that I need to do. I don't know how to do it. Oh my God, I don't talk about this. I don't know how to know. But this is the work that I need to do.
And you figured it out.
And still figuring it out.
You're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
Always, like we all are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it just always keeps going.
It does.
It's like people have asked me before, when am I going to be healed? That's an ongoing
I
process.
tell them, just don't even worry about it. You're going to die fucked up, so don't even stress it. Don't even stress it.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up process, but it's an ongoing
It
process.
is. Yeah, you're just doing your best. I always just say you're just moving the needle forward just a little bit. But there's no perfection in this. There's holiness, but there's no perfection.
There is no perfection. And what kills me is that people are always seeking perfection.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, why is that? Why are people always seeking perfection?
We still think we're in school.
That's so true.
School is such
So structured.
I homeschooled for a while. I told you I'm the intersection of all things.
That-
People are like, black people do that?
I did that too.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But it's like we're still waiting. We're waiting for the A. We're waiting for the gold star. We're looking not to fail
Right.
at life, as
Right.
though one can even do that. Even from a spiritual perspective, the drug addict on the street has not failed at life. They are experiencing something.
Something.
Right? But they have not failed at it. So we have this idea that if we don't have this house, this car, this relationship, this number of children, these many degrees, if we don't look a certain way, then somehow we failed. And so we need to now go heal.
Right.
So we can
Let's fix
be
it.
good.
And become perfect.
Right. And be worthy.
Right.
And especially as black women, we have this thing about being worthy. It's one of the reasons why we don't allow pleasure, why we don't allow rest, because we haven't earned it yet. Right? We're still chasing the gold star.
It's interesting when you said that Carolyn Wong, she's the CEO of Essence. Okay. She basically stated that you have to stop trying to achieve goals
Yes.
and basically start achieving failures.
Oh, yes.
Right? She was like, if you don't hit 7 failures within a day,
Yeah.
you're not done.
Yeah.
And I was like, good God, I gotta hit 7 of them? Like, I gotta hit 7 failures in a day. Like, can I just stick to 2 or 3? 7 is a lot.
What will
but-
everyone think of me?
Exactly. But it just made me think, because we're always thinking about, what's that goal? What's that goal? What do we need to do to achieve that goal? We're not thinking about failures. Nobody wants to fail,
No.
especially as black women.
Right. No. We are the first generation of women to have the opportunities that we have in mass.
True.
Right? It's not that, other women didn't. They were, there was Spelman and all of these other places, but in mass. My mother was in college and got married, and, then I came along a year later, and so she left school. And she didn't finish until later on. So her hopes and dreams were embedded in me, as they were for so many of us,
Absolutely.
right? So she
Yep.
was at the time, it was a secretary.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, secretary.
Right.
Not administrative assistant.
Right. No, it's a secretary working in a law firm.
Okay.
Right, in
Yeah.
the 80s.
Okay.
And so I'm certain she had stories. She passed away in 2023. I'm certain
so
she
sorry.
had stories to tell about that she never did. Many of our mothers were still really busting their ass. They didn't have the opportunity to go to college, but we grew up in the era of a different world on the
Right.
Cosby Show.
Right.
Right. And so we were off to the races. The corporate doors were open.
That's very true.
For us. But we couldn't make any mistakes because our whole village was relying on us.
Yeah.
They were
It's
depending
not
on
heavy?
us. It is right.
So heavy.
You can feel it, right? It's very
Right.
heavy. That because for so many reasons, and not all their own fault always, the men weren't given the opportunity to rise up, right? Because we can't have both. But we were certainly given the opportunity
Absolutely.
to continue on, and everyone looking at us and how great we were doing, and all of those things. And so, no, we could not fail, because if we failed, the family failed.
God forbid.
And that's a lot of pressure.
That is it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
a lot
that
of
we put
pressure.
on ourselves, which is why I think the millennials really were just like, fuck all that. I'm like, see, I watched y'all.
Okay. We're not going through all
No,
that.
no,
You can
man.
keep that.
But it really affected us, body, mind, and soul, to be the first to really rush through those doors. Nothing wrong with, if you want that life, but it takes a toll on us as Black women because we have to hide so much of ourselves. We still can't even wear our natural hair in certain places,
Isn't it?
right? So we have had to hide so much of ourselves that it really takes a toll. Pleasure is one of those places.
Pleasure is one of those places. Well, speaking of pleasure, I love this topic. You have a sex magic academy.
I do.
What is sex magic?
Sex magic is the ability to harness one's orgasmic energy in order to create the life they desire. So it's what would be called sympathetic magic in indigenous circles or in witchcraft. Sympathetic magic is taking something that's physical and exchanging it for something else. So just as women have the ability to give birth, whether you have a uterus or not, if you've had a hysterectomy, because I've had women say, well, I had a hysterectomy, the energetics are still there. So just as women have the ability to give birth, we have that same ability to birth so much more. And that's true. When people talk about if you give a woman a house, she'll make it a home.
Right.
If you give a woman the seed, she'll make the babies.
Right.
That's sex magic. That's what we're doing. We're taking this one thing, we're taking our energy. And usually it's our joy. And orgasms are joy.
Absolutely.
And we always create more when we are given the space to do so. So that's basically what sex magic is. Now, yes, the way I teach it, absolutely, it involves the body. So I do assist women in learning how to touch their bodies, explore their inner and outer labia, their clitoris. There are women who still don't know their body parts.
Yeah.
And so we talk about that in all of the spots inside A, G, O, all of
Oh, I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
When is the no, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. The term itself.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Sex magic? It's fun. Part of the work that I do is nervous system regulation. So what I noticed and what really catapulted me this way is when I was a personal trainer, there were so many women who were coming to get their body right for some guy.
Right.
They
Right.
wanted a butt
and not
like,
for themselves.
Yeah, no.
It was for some guy.
Yeah.
Or their partner.
Right. This was what they were doing. Like, I need to get my body right so I can look good for.
Right.
It wasn't, health wasn't really in the equation for the majority of them. And being a personal trainer is like being a hairdresser. Folks just start talking to you.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I can't stay in this field where I'm assisting women in perpetuating this idea that they have to look a certain way in order to be worthy, in order to feel love, in order to be attractive. Like, I couldn't do it anymore. But then I started to ask, well, what's really going on?
Was it after a certain amount of women? Or it was just like...
A certain amount of
Early
time. I started personal training in 2008, and I left the industry altogether by 2015.
Okay, so 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then I
You had
started...
enough data and enough research.
I did.
Okay.
And so then started talking to women about sex, and then it was like, oh no, and it was like, oh, down there, and and then that catapulted me into learning more about our nervous system and really how much Black women are still in fight, flight, freeze.
Right, the three Fs, right?
Yeah, and how we're always bracing for something, and that does not allow us the space that many of our counterparts have to enjoy life, to really fully just sink, relax, allow our muscles to relax,
Yes.
allow our mind to relax, and create. So the purpose of the Sex Magic Academy and all of that is to give us space to learn how to create safety for ourselves, because no one's coming to save us.
That's very true.
So we need to learn how to create safety in our own bodies.
I love
so that we can create. And when we start doing that more, the entire world will shift because we are the
Absolutely.
blueprint.
We are definitely the blueprint. But I love the fact that you said that we create safety within ourselves, because one of the things that we ask when we're dealing with anyone who is a survivor of SV or DV, the very first questions that we ask is, are you safe? Right? That is the very first question that we ask, are you safe? And to actually find solitude or, serenity or a level of comfort and being safe within ourselves is not something that a lot of women are actually experiencing or have experienced.
No. And it's an ongoing process. I'm still developing that safety
Mm-hmm.
within myself. And these practices that I have, they help me, which is why I want to share them with other women.
Right.
But there was no safety for me in my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's interesting, you would think that when you leave those situations, oh, you automatically feel safe. Actually, at least for me, it felt even more unsafe because as crazy as the relationship was,
Mm-hmm.
I knew it. Right? It was my standard. But when I left it, now I had no compass.
Okay.
And I had to create a compass for myself that's centered on me, not on him.
Right.
And I didn't know how to do that. So I used my children first. And then I still had to learn how to center me. So it was a
love
process.
that for you.
Thank you.
Some women are still obligated, feel obligated that they have to just solely focus on their children. They're living their life through their children, and they never, focus on themselves. I have a wish for that, especially when it comes down to sexual gratification and pleasure,
Oh, yeah.
or being sensual.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's actually the very last thing that we
Very
think
last.
about.
Yeah, not even on the radar.
And I love being a girl. I love being a girl. I love being a woman.
Yeah.
I came into actually having speaking about this topic because one day we're tall, right? We're
Yes, we are tall.
We're some tall girls here. And so I think I was explaining to you earlier before we started recording that how I was in the lingerie industry, in the beauty industry, in the fashion industry, because I was plus size and so on and so forth. And one day and this is recent, I want to say within the last 2 months, I literally just put on an undergarment because I was wearing a strapless dress and I just put on an undergarment and I just started feeling sexy.
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere. I just started feeling sexy and it was like more sensual. It was more sensual and no one knew what I was wearing underneath this dress except for me.
Yeah.
And I just so happened to share it with my husband later on that day and it sparked something immediately, right? So it was just, I really want to speak about sensuality and being a woman, being a black woman, and appreciating all of the curves or the non-curves and the things that we're blessed with, all of what we consider the faux pas of our bodies, right, or whatever, or things that I didn't consider sexy before. I started seeing or looking at myself looking different. And I was just like, wow, okay, girl, you 50 some odd years old, you still looking at you still got it.
Yes.
Right, so got it. So one little garment just changed my whole perspective about how I looked at my body. Because for so many years, it was either not thought about or I thought about it in a different manner. It was always negative.
Yeah.
I was looking at the flaws, or something that I wanted to change. Let me go for plastic surgery. I still have that a little now and then.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was just like, no, this is a topic that I want to talk about.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still to this day, still have my moments where I'm looking at my body and I'm like, oh, but then I remember this housed 4 people.
Oh. Well, you look absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
4 human beings came out of here. Okay.
You got to keep it in perspective.
Absolutely. A lot of your work centers around black women reclaiming sensual power, especially after years of being told what we should be, right?
That's right.
This episode is about being still desirable.
Yeah.
Right? And even as our bodies, needs, and identities evolve, how do you see that showing up in the women you work with? How do you see that work showing up?
Their ability to still feel desirable.
Mm-hmm.
I focus on my clients being their own best lovers.
Ooh.
That way you are never without. You are never without.
You are never without.
And what that does is it shifts their confidence so they're no longer chasing. Because we still have this idea that we have to find someone
Right.
to be with.
Right.
There's still that and there are a lot.
But the desire's there.
Yeah.
The desire's there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
A lot more older women now who are like, if I have someone, if I don't, it's fine. But I don't want it to be from a place of, I don't want to deal with no bullshit. No, I just want it to be from a place where you're like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And I am the sun, and I'm inviting another sun to orbit with me.
Okay.
Right?
Love
Versus I am like, many of us have been given this idea of I'm to be kind of submissive, or I'm not a find a man to lead type of woman.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
That's we can work together. We can collaborate. Sometimes you lead. Sometimes I'll lead.
Right.
Okay. But I'm just not going to hand things over to you because you have a penis.
Right.
Okay. So, but I am for Black women owning all of who they are and letting that shine brightly. And then once that happens, so many other things begin to shift in their lives. I had one client who had difficulty saying no at work, as we do.
All right.
Right?
Because we were raised.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And it was causing her literal physical pain. So she was having issues with her hips. And we worked through some somatic exercises to release that stress and tension, the feelings that were really underneath that. And she was able to go into work and set firmer boundaries. And she actually ended up going on to find a better job.
Okay.
Where she was far less stressed. This is in the healthcare industry, right?
Yeah, that's stressful.
Yeah. So it's work like that where learning how to center on your own sensuality, your own sexy for you first, ends up creating a different life for yourself, and everyone around that woman benefits from that joy, because she's not bitter or resentful. It's the mother who, and I've been guilty of this, it's the mother who's doing stuff because nobody else is going to do it, and they're not picking it. But then you're resentful and you're angry, and then you just stuff it down.
Right.
No, we're not going to do that. I tell my children.
Guilty as charged. Yeah. Guilty as charged.
I tell my children, I'm like, listen, I've hit a limit.
Right.
Okay. X, Y, and Z needs to get done.
And that's something that I do that with my children too.
Yeah.
I always have. I'm like, I'm human.
That's right.
And I make mistakes. I am
right.
not perfect.
No.
And so I do cry. I do hurt.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've always exposed my kids to.
Yeah.
That. So yeah.
Yeah. They need to see that. They need to see the full spectrum.
Absolutely.
Including the anger. If I can just, I'm in my mind, I'm creating a Black woman rage room. And it's going to be an event that's going to happen.
Love it.
Because it needs to.
Black woman rage room.
Yeah, I'm going to get some equipment together, like some, plastic bats and balls and things. Because I've been to such a thing.
Right. Suppressed.
And we need to get that out. It is one of the things that is killing us, is our inability to access our rage. And especially right now in this climate, I know we are feeling like we want to beat somebody over the head.
Right.
So let's do that
Right.
in a place where it's
Black
safe.
woman rage room.
Yeah, but we don't let our children see us like angry, but then we explode with rage.
Right.
And we don't want to explode with rage.
No.
Right? We want to be able to express it without scorching the earth.
Because we can.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why we are so
Blazing
feared.
fire.
Because we can scorch the earth.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons why it's so necessary to keep us suppressed and depressed.
Suppression and depression.
That's right.
That is absolutely sad.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Just to keep us under control.
There's a saying. I grew up in the Nation of Islam. There's a saying that I don't know if Minister Farrakhan came up with it, but I remember him saying it often, that a nation can rise no higher than its women. And as a child, I didn't really understand that, but it is true. Where you see women are not treated well, the nation itself suffers. Because whether we like it or not, we are generally the first teachers.
Absolutely.
We are generally the majority of the educators. And we are the person who passes on faith and spiritual beliefs. That's just in every family. We do that. But when we are stuck in survival mode, and when we are stressed and worried, and our children look to us as an emotional compass. People don't have to like it. That doesn't mean it's not true.
Absolutely.
They look to us as an emotional compass. And so when our compass is off, the children's compass is off.
Right.
And so the nation cannot rise. So I'm here for Black women to rise so that those who come after us can also go above.
That's interesting. What are some of the biggest myths or taboos that you see that the Black women carry about pleasure?
Oh, it's not for me. Literally, I've had women say that. I don't need to know my body. He's supposed to know it.
Ooh.
They've been taught that from young, some of them. Taboo, talking about sex.
That's true. I grew up in that household.
Right.
In the beginning.
Yeah, just in general, talking about it is taboo.
Yeah, I remember the very first time I Ask my parents, what is sex? I was 10. There was a miniseries that came on ABC
Oh.
a long time ago. It was about Samson and Delilah.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
I remember it.
Okay. I thought I was the only person who saw this.
Surely did.
Okay.
Scandalous.
Scandalous, right? For its time. And it was a lot of kissing scenes.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically I was 10, 11, or whatever it was. And I knew what sex was. Okay. I didn't experience it, but I knew what it was. And I remember I just wanted to test my parents to see if they were actually going to go into conversation with me regarding the conversation of sex. I am the last of 5 children. And so my parents were tired. They were tired. And so literally there was a kissing scene that happened between Samson and Delilah. And I said, what is sex? And I remember my mother exploding. Don't you ever ask that question again? What do you know about sex? Da-da-da. And I was just like, okay, lady. Yeah. I just wanted to, I didn't read the room, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. So we left it alone. And then it wasn't 2 years later when I became sexually active, And I basically taboo was no longer, it wasn't taboo anymore. Everybody was married and gone. It was just me, my mom. My father had passed away. And so it was just me and my mom. And she became open to the dialogue of sex. And now I come from a Caribbean household. From the silent generation, Caribbean household, and born and raised Catholic.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Taboo all the way.
So that's just a shame-filled.
Exactly.
Yeah. You were asking, like, the shame I find is the biggest piece and one of the hardest pieces for Black women to work through that I find. There's a lot of shame.
But why shame? Why do we center something around so beautiful? Why do we put so much shame and guilt around it? Is it stemming from our history?
Yes.
Is it stemming from the white power structure?
Yes.
Is it stemming from all of that?
And religion.
And religion.
Right. So the first thing that we're given is the religious piece.
Right.
Right. And I mean, again, I didn't have to be raised Christian to still be affected by those values in this country. So if you're raised in a church setting,
which I was,
there is absolute shame. Just the idea that a child needs to be baptized, right? Sin. All right, born out of sin.
Born out of sin.
Sex is sin. Adam and Eve created sin. Right. So you've got all this. Just like that's what you're coming in with.
Right.
Then you've got what I like to call the white inferiority complex, because I absolutely just cannot call it anything else because it's not superior, which comes along and tells you that you are less than. So you should be ashamed of your body, of your skin, your ass, your hips, your breasts, really, because they covet it. Right? And the jealousy is so insane that it's like, let me make you feel bad for who you are because I can't have it. Kardashians, you will never have it. Okay?
No shame.
So now you've got religious shame, you've got the white shame, and then you do have our historical shame of being, and I would say it's sex trafficking. It is the largest sex trafficking ring, Holocaust. We don't like to put those words to it. If other folks can put those words to it, we can certainly put those words to it. I say, if you think about, we're talking about Black women here, if you think about Black women as a girl who was snatched from her home at a young age, right? And put through all the things.
All the things.
Right? When she becomes an adult, we got folks racing in now to, give her therapy and counseling. Well, they should. Therapy and counseling, all that. You've been through something traumatic. Now that's hundreds of years of that experience, and we think that we're not going to be affected by it. And so our mothers and their urge to protect us from prying eyes that would treat our bodies wrong, fill us with shame and fear in an effort to protect us without having the conversation with us about why they're doing it, is just, don't wear that.
Yeah.
Cover up.
Don't wear red.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it's the fear, but never a conversation about here's why, because. And so now...
And you never dare to ask why.
Who would think to do that, right? You're 10, 11 years old. I was told to, no, we don't wear red. Well, why not? We just don't. Right? Well, red is a very attractive color and it draws attention.
It's powerful.
Right. But now as a grown woman, you don't just erase that. Now you get married, you're in a relationship, now you want to have sex, but all that stuff is like in your body.
Yeah.
And the vagina can't open because it's stressed, it's tight, it's closed, right? Now it's painful. See, and it just leads to so much. But it really is the what I say is the religious, societal, and cultural conditioning that we've been given that keeps us from pleasure, and it's also the religious, societal, and cultural conditioning that has us think we still have to earn it. We got to work for it. We got to be in the field from sunup to sundown, whatever
Yeah.
the field looks like to you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
No days off, no
days off.
rest. Still embedded in us.
It's still embedded in our DNA. It's genetic
Literally
at this
it
point.
is.
Dr. Joy
Literally.
Grew in her book, right? PTSD, post-traumatic slave
Yes.
syndrome, or
Yes.
She literally said, encompassed everything that you just said
Yeah.
in her book.
Yeah.
You know, how things are passed down generation-wise, or it's embedded in our DNA, and how, you know, when sexual assault or sexual violence happened to the women, or even our men.
That's right.
Right? With the bucking,
That's
what
right.
was it, butt bucking or
Back
back bucking?
breaking. Yes.
Whatever the
Buck
term is you
breaking.
listen. You know, shaming our men.
Yes.
To take away their will and their
Absolutely.
power.
Absolutely.
Raping us.
Yeah.
Right? As young girls, as children, or even as babies. I was watching one of her videos one day, and she was saying how, as black mothers, how we would belittle our sons in front of massa.
That's
Because
right.
we didn't want our children taken away from us. Oh, your son is that little buck is coming up real well. And no, he's just stupid.
That's right.
You know, and we're just protecting our children.
Yeah.
And we did it with the
becomes
girls.
normal behavior. Again, we don't learn about our bodies. So it literally wasn't until maybe 5 years ago, maybe, that I learned this. That I knew I was born with all my eggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I thought about the fact that when my mother was inside my grandmother, and my grandmother was getting beat by my grandfather,
You was experiencing that trauma.
my mother was inside her, and her eggs were being formed. One of those eggs became me. Right? And so all of and this is where like the science comes in, all of the cortisol and all of the stress that my grandmother was facing, right? And those neurotransmitters flowing through chemically as a cocktail into my mother's forming brain. Into her forming body, into her nervous system as part of the fabric of who she is.
Into her endocrine system.
Right, into her eggs, which now become, right? And that is the magic of epigenetics. But we can change it. It's not a one and done. We can shift it.
Absolutely. And we're doing the work.
We are doing the
That's
work.
why I love the fact that as a people, however you want to identify, the diaspora, right? I love the fact that we're starting to embrace mental health.
Yes.
We're starting to recognize our not just our physical bodies, but our soma,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And reading,
yes.
even though I claim that a lot of people are not reading, but I love the fact that we have social media. It's
I know.
yeah. Okay, let's leave that alone. But we have such great access to more information now in comparison to when we were growing up with just the encyclopedia, right?
Absolutely.
Well, you had the Britannica Encyclopedia
Absolutely.
or the Dewey Decimal System from the library.
Yeah.
So now at our fingertips, we have access to a lot more information. So I just love that for us as a people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can sit across from each other and have this dialogue and talk
Right.
about sexual pleasure and sensuality. So, okay, menopause. Let's talk about menopause. Yes. Menopause often comes with big shifts, right? And we're in our 50s.
Yes.
I can safely say that. And our libido, energy, body image, how can we reframe these changes not as losses, but as invitations into a new kind of intimacy and power?
So I don't remember the name for it, but the Japanese see menopause, perimenopause, the whole cycle as like a second awakening.
The Japanese see that?
That's right.
Because we damn sure don't see that. Okay.
No. So they
don't see that here.
No.
Right.
But we don't see puberty well here either,
That's true.
right? And we don't see any change of life in
But
a
you know
positive.
what? Think about this, though. You have daughters, right?
I do.
Okay. So when our daughters got their menses, their first one, we celebrated it. In a sense.
Yeah.
Childbirth.
Yeah.
We celebrate that.
Yeah.
So different forms of being a woman, we celebrate that.
Yeah.
Menopause?
No.
We're not
people don't
celebrating
celebrate
nothing.
it. No. And I don't know why I celebrate it. I do. And that's so I don't call it symptoms because symptoms sounds like I'm ill. Like there's something wrong with me. I'm not sick.
I like that.
And research is coming out that our bodies are pruning. Our brain is getting rid of what it doesn't need anymore. It doesn't need all that extraneous information
Right.
anymore. We are stepping into what we call in in spiritual practices, the crone years, where we now have access to a greater power because we are just a little bit closer to the veil between worlds. So as our brain is pruning and getting rid of what no longer serves it, so is our body. So it is a beautiful process that we're going through. And just like any process, it's not always comfortable. People think that when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, it's a beautiful process. It is not. When a caterpillar goes into its cocoon, it literally eats itself to nourish itself while it shifts into a butterfly. I'm sure that doesn't come with a lot of joy.
That sounds tragic.
Yeah. It doesn't come with a lot of, oh, yay.
Yeah.
But what's on the other side of that is something that we look at and go, oh my God, look at the butterfly. Right? But it has to go through that process. That's all, to me, that's what menopause is. It's not this, oh my God, I'm going through menopause. Yes, the hot flashes, they suck.
They
right?
absolutely suck.
I have not experienced them, I'm just saying. The vaginal dryness, for sure. Whatever other symptoms people are
The brain
experiencing.
fog.
The brain fog, right? And there are ways to deal with these things, but it used to be that cultures and societies knew the change was coming and said, here, for instance, here's a sweet potato. Because sweet potato contains a lot of estrogen, so women should start eating a lot more sweet potatoes. But I feel like our ancestors knew that, right? Because sweet potatoes,
Sweet potato
something,
pie.
right? Okay? I feel like they knew.
It wasn't a yam pie. It was a sweet potato pie.
Right. So I think when we start getting into practices that give us more and nourish our bodies more, we will find that these symptoms will appear a lot less. And also when we allow pleasure, the dopamine, the oxytocin to run through our bodies. This is not the time to shrink away. This is the time to lean into your orgasm. It really can shift and help, just like it does in childbirth. Just in case people don't know, orgasms help diminish the contractions during labor.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you have a webinar called Black Women as a God, right? And it's coming up on September 13th.
Yeah.
On Saturday, September 13th.
That's right.
That's my mama's birthday.
Oh, see,
Yeah, I
such a
lost
good
my
day.
mom 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
She was my muse. But anyway, please tell us about it. I would love to come.
Yes, absolutely. And this one is free.
Figuratively and physically. But go ahead.
Black Women as God. I created this last year, largely in response to what was happening with the presidential campaigns.
Okay.
And seeing the backlash of a brown woman running for president, which I already knew in my mind. I was like, this country ain't ready for.
They're not ready.
They
weren't ready.
Right. They weren't ready for a white woman. But it's really calling us back home to this understanding that we are the blueprint, that we carry mitochondrial DNA, the Eve gene from the first woman who was found on the continent of Africa, and that is transmitted through black women, not any other black women.
Yeah.
That we make every race on this earth,
Absolutely.
that we can give birth to every color of the rainbow.
Yeah.
And I wanted black women to really understand that, because when we look at the world today, and I'm not saying we have to save everybody because the capes are off, but I also want us to understand that these are our children running amok. And we keep
But aren't we tired of being a mama sometimes, though?
I know. And
Sometimes I just want to ground y'all.
It's more about, because like I said, we're not saving. It's more about stepping into a queen leader position than it is a mother position, because y'all are grown. Okay,
That's true.
This is like grown adults,
right?
So we're not teaching you anymore.
Right.
But we have been given the story that we're on the bottom, right? Because society keeps trying to put us on the bottom, but they keep trying to do that because we're really on the top.
Absolutely.
Right? And I want black women to understand that before any other religious teachings came in and where they came from and the history of that, we were seen as God, because life came through our bodies. Was nobody sitting around talking about sperm and egg. And because the egg actually chooses the sperm scientifically.
That's true.
Right? So
That's
we
very
carry the mitochondrial DNA. It is our egg that chooses the sperm. We need to understand.
Because there's millions of little suckers coming around, right?
Yes, and the egg is like, yeah. And see, we were taught the story. We, just what scientists knew, right? Scientists being the white men. This is what they knew, was that the egg was sitting there all just like, and the sperm just attacked the egg, and they fought each other. It was just like being on a war field. Imagine the sperm, and one sperm finally makes it through, like he has conquered the egg. Yeah. No, and really it was the other way around. He's like, let me in. And she's like, no. You're going to die. You're all going to die. And it's just like, I like this one.
Yes.
You can come in. And just think, if we lived our lives from that perspective, how would our choices be different as Black women? How would we walk through the world? When we walk into rooms, we would know we already own them. Because true. We helped to create the people who built them.
Absolutely.
They couldn't be here without us. I don't ever walk into a room full of any others and think and get nervous. Okay, I made you. What I look like, right? So if we really thought about it that way, how would that affect the men we
That's
choose?
interesting you say that, because right? I've gotten many times, I've walked into a room and I get your presence.
That's right.
I went to somewhere a couple months ago. It was upstate New York. I think it was the Black and Hispanic, whatever it was, all from New York. And I walked into a room and all eyes were on me.
Right, yeah.
And I didn't receive that until afterwards, because everybody noticed me when I walked in. Oh, because I was wearing a different hat.
Now the height does help. Look. Amen. I used to hate my height, but now I love my height.
I embrace it.
But even without the height, there is something about our presence that when we do walk into places with our head high in our power, everyone else knows who we are. We don't know who we are, and that's why I created that webinar, Black Woman is God. I want to remind us who we are, because even as we're looking at what's happening in society right now, and oh my God, I'm like, sis, I need you to remember who you are, because no matter what's going on, we are always going to be all right.
That's true.
We've always been able.
We would figure it out. We are a figure it out species.
They won't have a problem. They do not know how to survive without what we bring to the table. We have always been able to build a table. That's what I want us to do.
We build it and we bring it.
That's right.
Absolutely. All right, so we come to the section, or the part of our conversation where it's called Rapid Fire, still desirable edition.
Rapid Fire, okay.
So I'm going to ask you just a question. You just let me know. What's sexier, confidence or curiosity?
Confidence.
Lingerie or nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
One word to describe pleasure after 50.
Glorious.
Glorious.
Yes. First thought, best thought.
Most underrated erogenous zone.
The head came to me for some odd reason. That was the first thought that came to my mind. But when you think about it, when we go get our hair done, or somebody's massaging our head,
that feels so good. Our eyes automatically close.
Yes. It's like, oh my God.
You breathe a lot.
Imagine your lover just doing it.
Woo! Girl.
So.
What's one myth about sex after menopause that needs to die?
That our vagina isn't able to respond to it, that it somehow just clamps up, closes up, shuts down, not dry to, no.
Solo play, essential, optional, or revolutionary?
Essential and revolutionary. It's going to be revolutionary for a lot of women.
Sacred or sexy, can it be both?
Yes. The body is a temple. Again, I won't get biblical, but that's what folks really talk about in the Bible, but I digress. The body is a temple, so it is sacred. And we were given the one organ on the body that is designed only for pleasure.
Absolutely.
Love it. How people forget that.
Starts with a C.
The one organ that is its only job. We have it. Okay? Right.
Sorry, fellas. Okay, one sensual practice every woman after 50 should try.
Caress your body slowly. Literally lay on your bed naked. Like, put your lotion or your oil on or whatever. I don't care what you're doing. And just caress your entire body, especially your inner thighs.
I've done that.
Yeah.
In 3 words, what makes a woman over 50 powerful in bed?
Confidence, eroticism, sacredness came to mind.
I like that. Are y'all listening? I hope you're listening. Write it down. Fill in the blank for me. Reclaiming my sensuality means
power.
Ooh.
When I was in my marriage, one of the abuses that I dealt with was sexual abuse. And there was a taking away of my power. It was for sure a duty, whether I was interested or not. And it was a way to prevent him from being angry. And that was made very clear to me. And so there was no power there. What I did realize later, and I know this goes against a lot of what people learn conventionally, was that what that really showed me was how much power I had in that situation. That my presence, my being, so affected this human who had their own twisted ways of thinking. This is not, take away their responsibility. But it really, that's how I learned to reframe and get out of the powerlessness was, damn, I have that much power. Let me see how I can wield that a little different way with some confidence and some higher self-esteem. Because he got me with the low self-esteem. But what if I had high self-esteem?
How's that gonna look?
So it's a reclaiming of my power to be fully invested in my sensuality, in my desire, no matter what anybody else thinks about it, whether I want to be choked, spanked, or I want to be the dom in the situation, because I'm into kink too, all the intersections. It is my power that I'm exerting on my terms.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Debbie, we come to the end of this conversation. My producers are just like, come on, girl, get it together.
So good.
So I want to thank you, Devi Maisha.
Thank you.
And how can the audience reach you?
The best way to reach me is on Instagram. I'm very, very active on Instagram at Sensual Energy Alchemy, and from there you can get all of my other information.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. It was so great. Thank you so
This is so
much.
good. Thank you.
I'm definitely going to bring you back. Oh, we're going to come to you. We're mobile.
Listen, I'm here to just sit in the audience and listen now. I'm like, I'm in it. Whatever this is, I'm in it.
I love it.
Yes.
Everybody. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into Soft Power Voices podcast. Thank you. I can't wait to begin this.